Hi everybody, this is Maggie Sweets and I will be doing a fall fine art edit for you today. The image that we'll be working on is a camera raw file here. It was taken in October last year and it is a picture of a beautiful scene here. So I'm going to click and I'm going to open it. It is a camera raw file, so it's going to open up in camera raw, and let's go back to default so you can see the changes that I made as I'm making them. So I am going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in to her face and make sure that there aren't any harsh shadows. So I'm going to increase the shadows, decrease the highlights, then I'm going to go down here and increase the vibrance. Okay, that looks very good. Alright, and then I'm going to go here to the detail, and then I'm going to increase the luminance, and I'm going to have the color to about 36. I do this so that there isn't any weird green and purple noise there. So then I'm going to go to effects right here, and I'm going to decrease the vignette, decrease it so that there's a black vignette around the image. So that's it. Then I'm going to open the image. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is zoom in and look to see if there is any blemishes on my client that I can take out. Okay, there's a little bit of scarring on her forehead, on her hand, and then on her leg. Okay, looks good. I'm going to zoom out, Control and then the minus key, Control or Command and then minus key, Control plus to zoom in. So now I'm going to go and duplicate the layer, and that will be Control J or Command J. I use shortcuts all the time because it really helps me get through images very quickly. So then I'm going to go to Filter on my duplicated layer right here, and then I'm going to go to Portraiture, which is a plugin that I bought at the beginning of my photography career, and it's just really nice. It helps with the background and it helps with the skin. So I have it on strong, and I'm going to press OK. Okay, then I'm going to zoom in. Portraiture is always very strong, so I'm going to decrease the effect by decreasing that layer that I put portraiture on. So I'm going to decrease it to 78 or so. Alright, looks good. Then I'm going to flatten the layer. One of the things that I really like about Summerana is these quick essentials right here. So what I'm going to do is do the quick retouch workflow, press play. Okay, and it's going to give you a bunch of different adjustments that you can make to your portrait to really make it just amazing. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to start on her skin. So her skin's a little bit darker, so we're going to match the mid-tone right here to her skin. So I'm going to double click on here, and I'm going to go to a mid-tone of her skin, press OK. Then I'm going to get on the mask, and then with a white brush I'm going to apply that effect to the skin. So we're starting at 20%. You can also increase it and then decrease it later, which that's kind of my thing. So I'm going to do that I'm going to go to 50% and do that. It's looking good. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go to the rosy cheeks adjustment, and I'm going to just choose a more subtle pink. So I'm just going to slide it towards the gray. That's good. And then instead of soft light, I like to put it under a multiply blending mode. So I'm going to get on here. Let's just start at 50%. I'm just doing 3 taps or so. And then I also use this for her lips. Okay, looks good. I'm going to increase the opacity. It's too much. That's about right. I'm going to take it off of her eye a little bit more. Okay. And then I'm going to lighten under the eyes, and then I'm going to pick a mid-tone again. So from her skin, and that looks good. With a white brush, I'm just going to come underneath the eyes and apply. Same, looks good. Now I'm going to go down to highlight and contour. So I'm going to choose a darker part of her skin. So let's choose right there. For the highlight, I'm going to choose a lighter part of her skin. Let's choose right there. I'm going to contour her skin now with a white brush, and we can start at 50. Subtle changes. And you'll be able to see it later. You can always increase the opacity too. Okay. All right. A lot of people, I notice, they'll do the face really nice, and then they'll forget all about the legs and all of that. You can't forget the legs. Can't forget the arms. Okay, and we're going to go to highlight. I'm kind of doing a quick job just because this would be very long if I didn't. I'm going to redo that here too. Okay, looks good. All right. And then I'm going to go to Awakening just to brighten everything up a little bit with a white brush. Alright, now I'm going to flatten everything because I'm done with her skin. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-E, okay, Control-Alt-Shift-E, okay, that'll do that. Alright, so now I'm going to duplicate the layer again. And then I'm going to go to Filter, Liquify, and just add a little bit more to her hair. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. And I'm just going to even this out a little bit. Even her hair out a little bit. Okay, looks good. Control-Shift-E to flatten again. Okay, and then I'm going to go down. To, it's under the everyday workflow, and I'm going to go down to sharpening to sharpen the eyes. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go to Detail Clarity to sharpen the eyes. This can also be used on a lot of different things, like the ground that she's gonna be on, and then the tree, and then her hair. When I sharpen the eyes, the nose, and the lips. I'll also do her hair. And textures such as her clothes, which has this pretty lace on it. That'll bring everything to life. And the ground that she's on. Alright, flatten. And then I'm going to go to Tilt Shift Blur right here. Press play. Okay, this does a really awesome job of putting a nice blur on your photo. So you're going to zoom in and then just take that effect off with a black brush, okay, with 100% opacity. Alright, so we're just going to take it off of her. Okay, take it off of her legs. Okay, and then we're going to do one big stroke on the floor so that that focus plane still remains and it doesn't look, off. Alright, then you're going to press the backslash key to make sure that you've gotten it off where you want it off. So I didn't finish the focal plane here. And then I'm just going to, just to be safe, just get it off of her completely. Okay, looks awesome. And then we're going to Control-Shift-E, flatten everything. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now we're done with the essentials. Okay, now we're going to do some fall fun coloring and adjusting to make it just look amazing. So the first thing I do is just a general fall adjustment with selective layer, with the selective layer adjustments, and I'm going to start with the reds. Let's do the reds. Start from top down. So we're going to bring the cyans down, magentas up a tad. Then you're going to go to yellows and bring this down. Magentas up a tad. Same thing with your green. Bring it down. And magentas up a tad. That looks fine. We're going to go to selective layer and then Control-I to invert. I'm sorry, we're not going to invert. We're just going to take a black brush and take it off of her. I'm just going quick. When you do it, you know, just pay attention to detail, and the last thing you want is a red outline around your subject. Okay, and then to make it blend a little bit more, I'm just going to take a big brush with a 50%. I adjusted my opacity 50% and just take it off of the ground. Let's do that again. Okay, that looks good. So now we're going to take the vibrance adjustment layer, really increase the vibrance. Don't be afraid. And then invert it, and then we're going to, with a white brush at 100% opacity, just put it where we think it looks good. Okay, that looks good. Flatten everything. And then we're going to duplicate the layer again, and then Control-Shift-A. That'll take you to the camera raw window again, and as you can see back here, we've duplicated the layers, so any adjustments that we make in this camera raw window we can take off because of the duplicated layer. So we're going to lower the exposure down like that, and we're going to add some depth to the image, and we're going to put a layer mask on that, and then with a black brush at 100% opacity, make sure your hardness is very low. And then we're just going to put a spotlight on her. Looks good. Then we're going to take another adjustment layer, and it'll be the saturation layer, and really up the saturation. Control-I to invert, and then we're going to put that effect painted on. Okay, so now we're going to add just a normal layer, and we're going to take our paintbrush and just blend everything. And the way that I take the paintbrush and then I select using the Alt key just different colors in the image, and then at 10% opacity I just color on the image just to blend everything in and give it like a haze. Alright, now talking about haze, then flatten everything. I love Summerana's haze action. It gets under the everyday workflow on the bottom. Yes, soft haze. I love this action right here. So we're going to press OK, and we're going to, that looks really cool actually, that purple that just loaded. So we're going to put that on there and then decrease it. And then just take it off of her at 100%. Okay, that looks good. Okay, we're going to close that back up here, these actions. Alright, now we're going to brush on some fun stuff with the Summerana actions. Alright, we're going to flatten everything, and I love this marigold, that's how I start it. Okay, with a white brush at about 30% opacity, you're going to come in and add just a touch of color. And then we're going to go down to 10%. Adjust your opacity as needed for your image. And this autumn fire is amazing too. White brush. It's very strong, so be careful where you put it. I think the most important thing with fall edits is making sure that there's a good blend of colors. Fall has many different colors, it's not just one. Autumn fire is very strong, so I'm just going to decrease that layer, okay? And then completely brush it off of her. Okay, and then we're going to Control-Shift-E again, and then Control-Shift-A to get into the duplicate layer. Okay, let me go back here. I'm actually pressing, it's not Control-Shift-E, let me start over with that. Alright, it's actually Control-Shift-Alt-E, and that's going to give you a layer, a merged layer on top of all of your adjustments, such as that. Then you're going to press Control-Shift-A. Then we're going to do that, we're going to lower the exposure again and then blend the different exposures. Get a big brush, no hard, 0% hardness, and then make like a spotlight on her. Looks good. Alright, that looks amazing. So we're going to go, and add a sun flare. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to press continue and then press Control-T to adjust that sun flare. Okay, that looks good. Then we're going to change the color of the sun flare. I just change it to be a little bit more subtle. So I take the color picker and I just choose a color that's already in the image. In fall, I like to do like a yellow flare. And then I'm going to press Control-T again. Make it longer. Okay, decrease the opacity. Okay, that looks good. And then just to make sure, we're going to brush the effect off of her. Okay. Alright, and then the way that I check my images is I put a gradient map on there. Sorry, let's go back. I put a gradient map on there, and I do a black and white gradient map. And that'll tell me if something's too strong, it doesn't look right. So this sun flare, I'm going to adjust this again. I think I'm just going to take it out. Let's see if I can adjust it to make it look the way that I want. Okay. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, then I'm going to brush it off of her. I think I'm going to take my brush too and just increase the size and then go to like a 40% opacity. Let's do 10%. And then just kind of like make rays. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, and I'm going to lighten this color. That looks good. Alright, that looks good. So that's the final image. So let's do a before and after. So this is our before, and this is our after. Before and after. So hopefully that helped you do, that'll help you do some nice edits of your fall pictures. Sometimes even though they're not, the images aren't coming out completely red and vibrant and amazing, this edit will help you achieve something like that. So thank you so much.